Yeah, and today, Ross, we've got the perfect Saturday entertainment, haven't we, with Del Potro and Federer squaring off for that crucial decider in the afternoon session. Then this evening, the Bryan brothers against the Polish power. It's perfectly poised, isn't it?
It is. Well, I think when we saw the group stages, we knew that Federer-Del Potro is going to be a crunch match, but we didn't realise it was going to be Saturday prime time, lunchtime, and it's going to all come down to this. Who is going to win? It's the third time they've played each other in 3 weeks, and that's what makes it so exciting. They're one apiece. Del Potro won in Federer's hometown in Basel. Federer got revenge last week in Paris, and here we are. We're kind of in Federer's hometown in London, so it's going to be tough for Del Potro, I feel.
Do you? What are your thoughts on that, Jason?
It's an interesting comment because before the tournament, I think everybody thought Federer would struggle to get through the group. I mean, he's such a fantastic player. His record is incredible. He plays great indoors, but still, you know, that was named the group of death, wasn't it? Very, very difficult. But he's played some good tennis this week, and I just wonder whether Del Potro is looking a little tired. It might come down to who wants it most. And Federer said earlier this week he wasn't happy losing to Djokovic in 3 sets. He wasn't happy losing to him last week in Paris in 3 sets. So he's still got very, very high standards. And I think if he doesn't get through the group, he will see this tournament as a big disappointment. So I think if it gets really tight, and all of their matches recently have been very tight, they've gone the distance, then I think it might come down to who wants it most, and I think that might be Federer.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think as well, all things equal, if they're both feeling good, physically they're not struggling, I'm actually going to go with Del Potro. But I think he's hit the nail on the head. If Del Potro is feeling a little jaded, he mentioned as much in his post-match press conferences that he is feeling the effects, and he's a big unit. It takes a lot out of him playing a week after week, playing a lot of matches of late. And I think he wouldn't be too popular with Federer fans if he beat him again, because he's beaten him a couple of times in a row now. I mean, he's beaten twice in Basel in his hometown event. I quoted that when I was commentating. It's almost like shooting Bambi, beating Roger in Basel. So maybe Roger's out for revenge. You know, Ross saying this is like his hometown event as far as Federer is concerned.
Yeah, he's so popular here, isn't he? Centre court is going to be a buzz this afternoon when those two walk out.
What is exceptional about this big Argentine?
Well, I think, first of all, I think his forehand is actually bigger than those guys. Okay. I would say individually, if you're stacking them up and you're looking at it right under the microscope, I think under pressure he's a lot better than them as well, Ross. And of course, that's when it counts the most against the very best players in the world. In fact, that match that he played in the finals in Shanghai against Novak, there was absolutely nothing to distinguish between the two players. At the end of that third set tiebreak, it was 2 points that really separated them. Novak had to bring his very best in order to get the better of Del Potro. So that's what Del Potro's got. Plus, between the ears, he's stronger than those guys, I think, and he believes any guy can win his first major. I always like to bring this Federer. Beating Nadal and Federer in order to do so at your first time of asking, it says a lot about you.
And I think also the best players in the world are so good at exploiting weaknesses, aren't they? So if you say, how are you going to beat Tsonga? How would you beat Tsonga, Rob? What's his weakest shot?
You tell. I don't.
Okay, let's get the experts involved. What's his weakest shot?
His backhand.
Easy, right? Yeah. So you go straight to the backhand, you break it down, you expose it by going to the forehand and then breaking that shot down.
Sure.
Burdick, second serve isn't particularly good, and the forehand is a relative weakness compared to the backhand. What shot has let him down this week? Second serve. Served a couple of double faults in that third set yesterday to lose his serve and therefore lose the match. Those guys have weaknesses. Del Potro doesn't have any. What are you going to break down in his game? From the back of the court, so strong. I mean, Robbie often describes his forehand as a wrecking ball of a shot. And it's true, it does so much damage. Backhand, rock solid. Serve is fantastic. He's so tall, he can generate so many angles and get so much bounce off the court, even a court like this. And then when he wants to, he can move up the court and come into the net. So you can't break him down.
So where does he trouble Federer? Where has he caused Federer problems recently?
Well, I think initially, he can put Federer under a lot of pressure. We know he doesn't like to defend. Federer is always a player that likes to dominate, dictate, step up the court. He will never give up any territory and move back and defend. But Del Potro can hit the ball harder off both wings. So Federer's forehand's fantastic, but sometimes he's lost his timing on it when he's lost his confidence, and therefore he can draw errors from Federer. He can attack Federer's second serve because he's got a double-handed backhand return, whereas he can create so much angle and height off the court. When he serves to Federer's backhand, he can only chip that back in play. And then that allows Del Potro to dictate play from the back of the court. So very, very difficult, I think, for Federer.
I mean, Robbie, watching here Del Potro, it's fascinating how close to the baseline he practices. A lot of his shots are inside the court. Is that the way he plays in matches, and will he have to do that today to dominate Federer?
Well, I think he has versatility and he has the ability to play up, and I think that's another reason why he troubles the best players in the world. But of course, for a big guy, this guy knows how to defend as well. So talking about no weaknesses in his game, he has the ability to play good offense and good defense. And, you know, you couple that with everything else that Jason is talking about, and you can understand why he's such a thorn in the big boy's side.
And if you think about Federer's strength, it's getting a lot of first serves in and then dictating play from the back of the court with his forehand. And then when he puts his opponent under pressure, he wants to try and sneak into the net. Now against most guys like Gasquet, when they get pushed wide, they have to defend, especially with the single-handed backhand, and that allows Federer to step in, take the ball out of the air. When we're talking about Del Potro, he's got such long levers, got such a large wingspan, that when you think you've got him under pressure and when you fancy sneaking in, he can hit a winner. Yeah, so it's very, very difficult to get him to defend.
The way you guys are talking, it sounds like Del Potro's already won this match this afternoon.
Well, Federer's fantastic, isn't he? But, as Robbie said, on any given day, if all things are equal, you have to take Del Potro.
And I think you've got to look at this season as well. What's happened this season? Well, he's elevated his game. He's played better and better as the season's gone and played some of his best tennis in Asia. So obviously he comes into this event full of confidence. Federer's just dropped off a little bit, hasn't been playing well. Physically he's getting better. But I think the confidence is probably slightly more with Del Potro than Rog.
Fascinating. We'll have to wait a few hours to find out the outcome of that. We'll be talking a little bit more about Federer as well.